In the early 2000s, a wealthy financier named Jeffrey Epstein became one of the most notorious figures in modern criminal history, not just because of his crimes, but because of the questions, secrecy, and controversies surrounding how he operated. Now, why? Understehen, would find. Cybers find. When never buying. Today, we unpack what's become known as the Epstein Files, a global scandal that spans decades, powerful names, and unresolved mysteries. Jeffrey Epstein was born in 1953. He worked briefly as a teacher, then leveraged social connections to enter the world of finance. Despite lacking formal credentials, Epstein built a network of wealthy and influential people, from elites on Wall Street to politicians and celebrities. His private jet, nicknamed the Lolita Express, and his private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands would later become central to criminal cases. Epstein first drew serious law enforcement attention in 2005 in Palm Beach, Florida, after a 14-year-old girl's parents reported him for sexual abuse. Local detectives gathered evidence, conducted interviews, and secured warrants, forming the earliest public part of what would become the Epstein Files. However, in 2008, Epstein struck a controversial plea deal. Anonen Afrikan voordrubie soudvams van den standestan and a non-prosecution agreement that allowed him to plead to state charges of soliciting a minor for prostitution, avoiding more serious federal prosecution. Critics say that deal allowed him to escape accountability and set the stage for future revelations. So, the term Epstein Files doesn't actually refer to a single document. Instead, it's become kind of a shorthand for this huge collection of documents produced over decades. Things like police reports, grand jury testimony, flight logs, email correspondence, financial records, and federal investigations. By the year 2025, the Department of Justice and Congress had started to release thousands of pages of these records to the public. These files include deposition transcripts, investigative memos, and even previously sealed civil lawsuit records. Some of these documents mention public figures who had social or business ties to Epstein, though just to be clear, the existence of a definitive Kleinapwire. Kleinstein-Depon Perdenesan. Leist Maibopinsaib was in Napar. Bribers, Rapine Sodin Stansanidi. Was for blackmail, has not been verified by law enforcement. In July of 2019, Epstein was arrested in New Jersey as he stepped off his private jet. He was charged in federal court with sex trafficking and conspiracy. Prosecutors described evidence that Epstein had trafficked minors for sexual exploitation across multiple states. The arrest triggered new scrutiny of the earlier plea deal and, honestly, the network of people who had enabled Epstein for years. Just over a month later, on August 10, 2019, Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. The official cause of death was ruled suicide by hanging. The circumstances, including errors in his supervision, fueled widespread debate and speculation. FBI and Department of Justice reviews later confirmed the ruling of suicide and found no evidence of a conspiracy to murder him. Although, questions about why required procedures weren't followed remain part of the public record. While Epstein's death meant he never faced trial, prosecutors turned their focus to his close associate Ghislaine Maxwell. Arrested in 2020, Maxwell was convicted in December 2021 on multiple counts including sex trafficking and transporting minors for illegal sexual activity. In 2022, she received a 20-year sentence. Her conviction was central because it underscored that Epstein did not act alone, and that there was an organized effort to recruit and groom victims. Beginning in the 2020s, courts began unsealing portions of the Epstein Files. Thousands of pages of deposition transcripts, emails, and investigative records came to light. Some contained graphic testimony from survivors and law enforcement interviews. Many documents had already been public in partial form, but honestly, the ongoing release added context. In 2025, the U.S. Justice Department issued a memo confirming it found no evidence of a specific client list or that Epstein systematically blackmailed powerful figures, directly contradicting some public speculation. As Epstein's network emerged, images and records surfaced, showing his association with influential figures. In late 2025, House Democrats released thousands of photos from Epstein's estate, some showing prominent individuals who have denied wrongdoing or said their interactions were social and benign. At the same time, the public debate over transparency and justice remains intense. Victims and advocates have criticized how some files were handled and the pace of their release, calling for more complete disclosure. Today, the Epstein Files continue to be released in phases. Some information deepens understanding of how Epstein operated and the scale of his crimes. Others pose questions about accountability, the role of wealth and power, and how justice can be served long after a predator's death. What is clear is this: the human cost, the lives affected, is at the center of this story. And as more documents emerge, the world watches not just for answers, but for accountability. This was the story of the Epstein Files, a scandal decade in the making and far from finished. If you want to dive deeper into the documents, timelines, and survivors' voices, click through to our sources and links below.